Our next speaker up, I don't know if you listen to the Michael Savage show or not. This gentleman, he fills in from time to time. He is also out of Washington, D.C. I'm proud to present to you Jeff Kuhner.
Wow. It's wonderful to see so many patriotic Americans out here. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a columnist at the Washington Times. I'm the president of the Edmund Burke Institute. It's one of Washington's premier conservative think tanks. In fact, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Grace, Dr. Grace Voto. She's the executive director of the Edmund Burke Institute. More importantly, she's the executive producer of my talk show in Washington, D.C. I'm on every day from noon until 3 on 570 AM WTNT. You can hear me on talk570.com if you live outside the D.C. area, as I suspect most of you do. If you don't, you can also hear me on Savage. I regularly fill in for Michael Savage. You know, and I got to tell you, as I'm walking around, I was, just talking to Senator Rick Santorum, and I was just thinking in my mind, where's Big Al Gore when you need him? Where's the global warming? It's freezing out here. Big Al, come on down, warm it up a little bit, baby. You know, as I was driving around, we actually left this morning, and we were doing great time. We're cruising down, beautiful, picturesque scenery. I'm a city slicker from Washington, D.C. I hit the 11966 Interpass area. I get completely lost. I almost didn't make it here. So Melinda Donnelly, one of the organizers, is here right now, but I call her up. I say, Melinda, listen, I'm lost. She says, listen, we'll give you instructions. Don't worry about it. They're guiding me through. And I say to her, I say, Melinda, I don't know how to tell you this. I'm from Washington, D.C. I can't even drive to a place for a Tea Party rally. How are we going to run 1/6 of your economy? That's how incompetent we are in D.C. But you know, my friends, I got to tell you, I'm often asked this question, being on the air. If you were to define Barack Hussein Obama's presidency, what would it be? And I say two words come to my mind. I'm sorry.
Apologize!
Our apologist in chief. When he goes to Europe, in Berlin and in Paris, he apologizes to the Europeans for American arrogance. When he goes to Cairo, to the Muslim world, and discovers his inner Muslim, he apologizes for American imperialism and injustice to the Muslim world. When he goes to China and meets with President Hu Jintao, he apologizes for our economic predominance. But I have news for President Obama. The people he should apologize to are to the American people for what he is doing to this country. And another word that comes to my mind, it's only one word. It's bow. He's the bower in chief. It's unbelievable with him. It's like a reflex action. I think it's almost compulsive, pathological. When he goes to Saudi Arabia, meets King Abdullah, he bows. It's almost licking his boots. When he meets the Emperor of Japan, he bows. Just on Monday, in Washington, D.C., where I have to say, I apologize for being from there. What can I do? But in Washington, D.C., there we are, a major nuclear security summit. 46 nations, their heads of state descend upon Washington. All of the eyes of the world are upon us. Cameras, photographers. And after all of the criticism our president received for bowing to the Prince of Saudi Arabia, to the Emperor of Japan, what does he do? He meets the President of China and he bows once again. I swear, I think he's got a serious psychological problem. People ask me this. It's almost, what is it, when he meets with Nancy the Piranha Pelosi or Dirty Harry Reid, he has to bow? And they go, no, Mr. President, you don't need to bow, stand erect. And everybody meets, he's got to bow, he's got to bow. But what I found frankly insulting is this, and it's what the mainstream media refuses to talk about. When, in the history of the United States, has our Commander-in-Chief, the man who represents all of the American people on American soil, in our nation's capital, bow to a foreign despot and a foreign tyrant? Mr. Obama, if your left-wing cronies in the mainstream media won't tell you, I will tell you. You should be ashamed of yourself, sir. Shame on you. And when I think about what Obama is doing to this country, I think of all the other socialist dictators of the 20th century that have slowly but surely destroyed their nations. And if there is one statistic I want all of you to remember, it is the most devastating statistic about Obama's presidency. And I use it every time I debate liberals when I'm in Washington. And literally, I kid you not, it drives them apoplectic. I think they're going to get a heart attack. I say, please get an ambulance person. I need somebody here to take him to the hospital. I don't want the person to drop dead. And it's this statistic. In the first 3 years of Obama's presidency, according to his own budget numbers, his own White House Budget Office, he will have accumulated $3.7 trillion to our national debt. In 3 years, he will have accumulated more debt than it took for our entire country to amass in its first 225 years. My friends, think about that. He is bankrupting us in nothing less than 3 short years. And everywhere you look, he has nationalized the banks. He has nationalized the financial sector. He has nationalized 1/6 of our economy, wrecking the greatest healthcare system in the world. He is now taking over the student loan program. But is our dear leader finished? Is our comrade-in-chief done? No, 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 no. Like some Latin American tin-pot socialist dictator, he's just getting warmed up. As Nancy Pelosi said, once we pass health care, we're just kicking the door down and unleashing a flood of new legislation. So now next, mark my words, the Democrats are already planning it. They're already plotting it. They are now going to try to ram cap and trade down our throats like they rammed Obamacare down our throats. It's not enough to take over 1/6 of our economy. No. Now they want the federal government to control all of our economy. And then the final pillar. Because Obama knows one thing. When his top political advisor, Ron Dead Fish Emanuel, when he's not accosting members of Congress naked, nude in the showers, he's reading the opinion polls, maybe naked as well. And he's going to Barack Hussein Obama, my dear leader, comrade, we are dropping like a stone. You promised us, once we rammed Obamacare, that we would now get a big bounce. Now the American people would wise up to all the wonderful gifts and goodies you've been giving us. But instead, opposition has broadened, intensified, and deepened. We're in political freefall. Yes. What do we do? And so now the Democrats are going to play the most desperate card they can play. It's going to be the final pillar in their revolution, and I want to warn all of you about it. Already now, they are trying to pass legislation through Congress to grant amnesty to over 20 million illegal immigrants. And the reason why they're doing it is not for social justice. That's a lie. It's not to bring the illegals out of the shadows, as they say. That's a lie. It's because they want to expand the electoral playing field. so they can get 20 million new shock troops for Obama's socialist revolution and try to overturn the will of the American people as they did it with Obamacare. But I have news for our comrade-in-chief. Mr. Obama, this is not Kenya.